Hi, this is Doug Schulte with Select Machining Technologies here today at Hartwig Incorporated in their showroom in Houston, Texas. Today I'm here to talk about the Momentum MFB 4050. The machine you see behind me is the 5 meters between centers, 40-inch diameter turning capacity, and a 51.9-inch swing. The MFB series is available with 3 up to 6 meters between centers in 1 meter increments. The standard configuration of the machine is like you see it here behind me. You have the 12-station servo-driven turret. You have the fully programmable tailstock, and this model also has the optional sub-carriage assembly for boring operations. The headstock on the Momentum MFB series is a 4-range geared headstock. This particular machine has the big bore spindle, which is a 12.2-inch diameter spindle bore. We can do larger spindle bores, and the standard spindle bore is a 10-inch diameter. Let's show you now how the main carriage connects to the sub-carriage. Bob's helping us out today. Bob's one of our Select Machining applications engineers. Once it's in place, you simply slide this carriage forward, and that pin locks into the second sub-carriage, and now you can carry that sub-carriage everywhere the main carriage goes. So they share a common Z-axis, so you program the one Z-axis, and then you have the main X-axis and X2, which is the sub-carriage. So X2 would give you that second movement for boring applications or drilling applications, to get the drill on center line or get the boring bar to contour as needed for the ID of the part. When you're done with that, you can disengage, and now the carriage is free to move anywhere it needs to move. You'll notice in the front side of the machine, there's no electrical cables in front on the carriage. A lot of lower cost flatbed lathes have a large electrical channel with all the electrical wires in front here, which keeps the operator from getting up close to the part. In the Momentum machines, the electrical for the carriage here is in this housing, and it goes up top, and that cable track is up at the top there instead of being down in front where all the chips and coolant will lay on it. You can see also that these way covers cover the ball screw that drives the Z-axis, and that area that's diamond plate covered there is a walkable surface, so an operator can walk on there to maintain tools or do whatever might be needed up in there. Change centers in the tailstock. The programmable tailstock is programmable in the movement along the bed. It'll lock into the bed when it gets to position. It gives you excellent thrust on the part to be able to hold the part securely between centers. The CNC control is the standard Fanuc 0i that we use in our MFB series. And the way that the control arm's designed, it can travel the full length of the machine. So if you're working up on a shorter part close to the headstock, you can bring it up there. But if you're working on a larger part, you can move it anywhere along that part where you need to use it for operation's sake. Something else to point out, when you're generating a lot of chips and a lot of big chips, you want to keep them flowing off. You don't want them sitting on top of the way covers if you can avoid it. So you'll notice Momentum has installed flushing systems that keep coolant flushing all off those ways. There's one over here on the carriage as well that's also pushing coolant away. And it just keeps the entire working area of the chips moving off of the surfaces where you don't want them to be sitting around. See the green buttons on the side of the headstock? Those are spindle jog buttons. So when you're setting up large parts and you want to indicate them in, those two green buttons allow you to reverse jog or forward jog the spindle headstock for setup purposes. If you could remove the way covers and see the ball screw is an 80 millimeter diameter, 3.15 millimeter diameter ball screw. So a heavy duty ball screw supported on both ends and stretched pre-tension, so it eliminates the backlash and also keeps the temperature of the ball screw in good shape. The tooling that's used in the turret, the tooling is 1 1/4 inch square tools, and then boring bar sleeves can be added to the OD of that turret for boring bars up to 3-4 inches in diameter. It may be hard to appreciate the size of that turret without somebody standing next to it, but it's a very heavy-duty servo-driven turret. Again, travels the full length of the bed of the machine to give you great access to the working area. Another nice feature for your operators is the steps that allow access to the working area. And these steps can be locked in at any position along the bed of the machine. Then you can step up here and make adjustments to work or adjustments to the part if necessary. When you have a big spindle bore, there's a lot of cases when you're going to want to use another chuck on the back side of the spindle. And the Momentum MFB comes standard with a spindle nose on the back side of the spindle, so you can mount an auxiliary chuck to get that chuck on and off of that spindle. You can see there's an access door up top that allows you to open that up so you can crane load and bring in a chuck from over the top. There's some side access if you needed side access to that same area. Good operator access to your lubrication systems. So your way lube and your spindle lube is all handled here. This chiller is for the oil that circulates and cools and lubricates the spindle itself. I mentioned it's a 4-range geared headstock. So if you're running a 4-range gear headstock, there's going to be some heat generated, and you want to keep that oil cool to make sure the bearings stay cool and the headstock stays in the proper temperature. And like the MVL series, we offer an air conditioning unit for the electrical cabinet to keep all the electronics cool inside. And the machine itself is a very clean installation with the full enclosure on all sides, and keeps for a very clean shop with a large capacity machine tool. And at various positions all along the back of the machine, you have access doors to allow for setting up. Maybe you're making an adjustment or a measurement, or you're cleaning some chips out of the area. But whatever you need to do, you have good access along the entire back end of the machine. I mentioned up front that we had 2 chip conveyors, one in the front of the bed and one in the back of the bed. This is where they discharge out to the right side of the machine. So all the chips that go on either side come to either the front or the back and out these chip conveyors for easy disposal. Let's let you take a look at what the machine looks like with the full enclosure closed. So I'll take the short side and Bob's got the big side. So that's the Momentum MFB 4050. Thanks for taking some time to listen to the information about this machine. And if you do some large part heavy turning, we'd love to talk to you about the Momentum MFB series. Please reach out to your local distributor, whether it's Morris, Hartwig, or Gossiger, or Arizona CNC, and we'll be happy to help. Or you can reach out to us here at Select Machining Technologies.